Peace. Hare Krishna. Rukmini is the first and prominent queen of Lord Krishna, Cheif of Dwarika. She is well known in Hindu legends as the principal wife of Lord Krishna. According to Bhagavata Purana, Lord Krishna valiantly kidnapped her and saved her from an unwanted marriage with a wicked Shishupal. Krishna took her away and married her. The basic story, as per Srimad Bhagavatam, as we read in the Bhagavatam, is that there was a king named Bhishma, and it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam that he had two children, Rukmi and Rukmini, Prince Rukmi and Princess Rukmini. He had heard many stories of Krishna's valor and secretly wished him to be his son-in-law. He knew that it might not be possible, but because Kansa's father-in-law Jarasandha was their overlord and he was Krishna's sworn enemy. Now, Rukmi was a friend of Kans and owed his allegiance to Jarasandha. He wanted his younger sister to marry Shishupal, Krishna's cousin and prince of Chedi, who also was favored by Jarasandha. Rukmini had heard stories of Krishna's divinity from her childhood, and she had her heart set on marrying Krishna, Lord Krishna. When she heard that Rukmi had chosen Shishupal for her, she resolved that she would only marry Krishna or die. She sent for her trusted aide Sunanda, a wise old Brahmin. She wrote a note to Krishna telling him that he was the only husband for her and asked if he would come and take her away. She wrote to him that if he wouldn't have her, she would give up her life. These days there are emails. One might think she wrote a letter. What in the modern age does she write an email? So such questions might come. But you should know that this is a transcendental leela and not anything pertaining to the material world. So this is the Lord's internal potency. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, is it is her form. She begged him that he spare the lives of her family whilst kidnapping her. She wrote that on the day of wedding she would go to the temple of Mata Parvati and if he would, that was the right time to kidnap her. She sent Sunan with a note to Dwarka, the kingdom of Krishna. Krishna knew of Rukmini's devotion and accepted it graciously. On receiving the message from her, he resolved to kidnap her. Now, Jarasandha, who knew that Krishna might try something like that to humiliate him, he filled all that, the city with people loyal to him. Krishna went to Vidar first, and Balram followed with the army. On the wedding day, when Rukmini was leaving the temple, now here Balram is also ready with his army. Now you would say, now it is a matter between Krishna and Rukmini, and why is Balram going there with the army? So you should know that the opposite party is as equally equipped for all these events. On one hand, there is Shishupal, who is a big demon, and then Rukmini's brother wants his sister Rukmini to be married to that demon Shishupal, and then obviously there would be some strife there or a battle for sure. And here Lord Krishna is accepting Rukmini's devotion and ready to help her. And he goes and followed with the Balram follows him with the army. On the wedding day, when Rukmini was leaving the temple, she looked in the crowds for Krishna and she did not see him. As she was about to enter her chariot and leave, she felt someone hold her from behind. And it was Krishna. He lifted her into the chariot and fled away. Now, Jarasandha was furious. He rallied all his men and ordered them to chase Krishna. Jarasandha's men followed Krishna but were ambushed by Balaram and his army on the outskirts of the city. Now, Rukmi managed to go through Balram's army and catch up with Krishna and Rukmini. He swore he would not return to his city without his sister. Rukmi fired an arrow at Krishna, but it did not even make a dent in Krishna's divine armor. Krishna then fired multiple arrows, which first killed Rukmi's horses and then shattered his chariot. Rukmi then picked up his bow again, but before he could fire, Krishna shot another arrow and shattered Rukmi's bow. Rukmi, now mad with rage, picked up his sword and ran towards Krishna. Krishna fired another arrow and split Rukmi's sword into two. Krishna then picked up his sword and was about to attack Rukmini when Rukmini begged her Lord to spare her brother's life. On Rukmini saying, "Now hear the devotee's devotion. Now see that wicked Rukmini who is bent upon with a wrong decision for his sister." The sister begs, and it is the similar to how Devki and Vasudev was being killed by Kansa, but there also the devotion of Vasudev saved the entire, the situation. Kansa was saved because of Vasudeva. So the bhaktas are very important. They are very merciful. They, because of their devotion, the leela of the Lord progresses, and that is seva of the Lord. So here Rukmini is begging, in spite of all the opposition, there on the battlefield where she is being harassed by her own brother, and Krishna, whom she is favorable to, is also being opposed by Rukmini, and she begs to the Lord to save her brother's life. On Rukmini saying, Krishna spared Rukmini's life but cut half the hair on his head and half the mustache on his face, the worst insult a warrior could face, and then let him go. So our Lord is here doing this mischief, but it is necessary. He cut half the hair on his head, and then what better than this, to insult any warrior, because they are very proud of their strength, and the Lord broke his ego in a partial way. He cut his hair on the head and half the mustache. So naturally, people will ask, and after his appearance, people will ask in the world, if someone appears like this with a half hair. In America, it's a style, hairstyle. But in India, if you go like this, if any man is found or a youth is found to go like this with half hair, you know, cut and their half hair hanging behind, people will mock at him and they'll laugh at him. And then one mustache on one left side निकाल दिया है, right side है, तो हंसी की बात है. So Krishna returned to Dwarka with Rukmini and made her his bride. The deeper meaning of this Leela that we read, at first, in the first instance, it appears like, the headings of the Leela, Rukmini's letter to Krishna, and then immediately the bells ring, letter, love letter, because then it followed by marriage. But it is not to be understood and taken so, like on the mundane platform. It was not like that. It is a fully transcendental lila, and it is a deeper aspect to it. um, so you should read Bhagavatam in that light, and the only then you can understand. Otherwise, it will go in a very general manner, and you would lose the essence of it. The deeper meaning of this Leela is Sri Krishna and Devi Rukmini were, of course, Lakshmi Narayan themselves. Their union was meant to be as they have been together since the beginning of time. In incarnation after incarnation, there are obstacles that they must cross in order to unite, whether it was the Shiv Dhanush in Ramavatar or this time around Rukmi and Jarasan. But by putting these obstacles in their own path, the divine couple teaches us that true love can overcome anything and sets an example of its strength in each of their earthly incarnations. So here it's about the bhakti, the surrender, the sharanagati. So the true love, that it always wins, and the Lord is always the winner. So, another important element of this Leela is Rukmini's sincere devotion. Her heartfelt message to Krishna, Sri Krishna, is its own prayer within the Bhagavatam, Rukmini Sandesh, and is the subject of beautiful poetry even today. here is a translation of Rukmini Sandesh. Now this is a note that I am reading, and they have pulled out a translation of the Rukmini Sandesh. It's a stuti which highlights the complete surrender that characterizes a true prem ras intoxicated devotee. They write, if you read the heading, if you come across the heading, and then in many Bhagavatam, lectures or katha, uh, they address it like Rukmini's love letter to Krishna, and it creates a very different impression. So again, as I told you, Rukmini Sandesh is not an any general or ordinary message. It's not an any mundane. It's not on a mundane platform. It is not a person like me and you who writes. It is the Lord's internal potency itself, Lakshmi Devi, Shri Rukmini Devi. She is the Lord's transcendental internal potency, and she is writing this to the Lord, and that is it is a stuti. It's a beautiful stuti about the Lord. So here is a devotion about. It is all about the devotion of a bhakta who is wanting to serve the Lord, and he has a fear that he may be captured or taken away on the opposite side, pulled away by the other force where that devotee is reluctant to go to, because he has devotion for the Lord. O the infallible and the most handsome one, having heard your qualities which enter through the path of years and absolve away the pains of life, having heard about your handsome appearance, which is the only asset of the eyes of living beings with eyes, my heart is accepting you as a consort, living behind shyness. Now here it is, the shyness. What is the shyness? Rukmini, she's the princess. Her father, and she lives in a palace. Her father, and then there's her prince brother. She is amongst all the maids, guarded well 24 by 7. Without them, she cannot move about. And then she has so many royal, dealings as a princess. But she is now writing in the letter that she has left behind all her shyness. Now, shyness is also an obstacle in the devotion. You cannot be shy. Now, what does the shy means? It's a very deep term, and we cannot take it on the in the literal meaning on a very shallow way. Shyness, it's a real it for us as devotees or aspirants in this bhautik jagat material world. The shyness also could be, it could be a um, it could have a hidden many hidden things behind it. You may call it on the in the on a on the upper layer, like shyness, but it could also be about your doubts, having doubt or suspecting, not having full faith. So we must not confuse this shyness with our shyness. This shyness is different. Here it is the Lord's internal potency. This shyness is fully transcendental. O Mukunda, the lion, best among men, given a chance, which composed girl from a good lineage will not, which girl, composed girl from a good lineage will not wish for you as a consort? You, who is the happiness of the minds of people, who is the happiness of the world, and incomparable from any viewpoint, be it lineage, nature, beauty, knowledge, energy, wealth, or abode. Now, the girls, what they do look for boys, he should be from a good family, खानदानी रहना चाहिए, ब्राह्मण परिवार से हो, बहुत learned हो, विद्वान हो, दिखने में सुंदर हो, उसको knowledge भी हो, he should be, very apt, and his behavior should be this and that. So many requirements girls have. Specifically, he should be having a lot of wealth too, his appearance, he must be having a good income, a good career, reputed, all these things. And then he must have a big bungalow, and then he must be having many good friends. So there's a huge big list a girl wants when she is being talked about for marriage, and she they presents this to her parents too, very shamelessly, like shameless in the sense she is like, I want all these others, I'm not going ahead. In today's world this is not so possible. Many compromises needs to be done, but here it is the Lord who possesses all these qualities, and one must remember that we must not fall a prey to all such mundane and these desires. These desires will be always there, but these desires, Rukmini is directing all those desires to the Lord of Dwarika. She is addressing him, and she is here glorifying the Lord, that you are incomparable from any viewpoint. All these qualities you possess, your the lineage, the nature, beauty, knowledge, energy, wealth, and abode. Therefore, O Lord, I have indeed accepted you as a consort, and I have submitted myself to you, she says. O lotus-eyed Krishna, please arrive here, accept me, so that the prince of Chedi, Shishupal, does not take away property of the brave, you just like a jackal should not take away the prey of a lion. Here she is directly writing about Shishupal, that because he was oppressing many, and she must have heard about the his activities, what he's into and what he does day to day basis. And she is writing to the Lord that just like a jackal should not take away the prey of a lion. If I have revered the all pervading Paramatman by social welfares like digging wells, oblations, obeying rules, penance, and serving demigods, saints, and preceptor, then oh, Gadagraj, she is writing here, Gadagraj Krishna, you accept me after holding my hand instead of anyone else like the son of Damaghosh. Shishupal, it is son of Damaghosh. O Lord, who is unconquered, arrived secretly in Vidar one day before my marriage, that after defeating all the army commanders from the regions of Chedi and Magad, Shishupal and Jarasan, these were very heavy demons there. They did a lot of havoc and they were really very deadly. She says that after defeating all the army commanders, now here we find that we are always scared of the demons. But here the devotee is writing to the Lord that please protect, like for protection. And also she mentions about the demons. Why? Because then others should not suffer, and they may also in turn get a chance to join in the devotional community, the community of devotees of Lord Krishna in Dwarika. So she is requesting that please come one day before my marriage. Then, after defeating all the army commanders from the regions of Chedi and Magad, Shishupal and Jarasan, marry me with the ways of demons by showing your valor and conquering power. If you are wondering how will you ever conquer me without killing the women and relatives inside my palace, then I'm telling you a way out. Now she is a princess in the palace. So naturally there will be people opposing her maid servants. They will oppose her even the soldiers who are guarding her from any enemy outside who would want to elope away with her, because they are being told that you should keep a watch on her. So she is telling that if you're wondering, how will you ever conquer me without killing the women relatives inside my palace, then I'm telling you a way out. As per an old tradition, there's a grand fair before the marriage during which the bride goes to the temple of Giriraj for prayers. Now, Bhakta ka man hai, the devotee's mind, how it is thinking for the Lord. This is so beautiful and very detailed. Now she's wondering that she's even thinking about the Lord. No, means she knows about her Lord fully. That is why she's wondering that if you think that she must be thinking the Lord is, she knows the Lord's divine qualities. So she's wondering, will the Lord kill all these innocent people who would try to oppose him? They have no uh, they have not done anything wrong. They'll be doing their duty, but if the Lord kills them, the Lord will not want to kill them, and he should not. So she is helping further, saying that I'm telling you a way out. You need not kill these people because they'll oppose. So then she mentions that there is a what, old tradition. Now she's telling about the old tradition that there's a fair before the marriage, during which the bride goes to a temple of Giriraj for prayers, and then, oh lotus-eyed Krishna, if I didn't achieve this dust of your lotus feet, which is sought after by incomparable ones like Umapati, Lord Shiva, that I will destroy my life. She is very serious here now, and in this stuti she writes at the end, if you do not arrive, if I don't achieve the dust of your feet. Now this is totally contradictory to what we find in the pure devotees of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani's devotees do not tell Lord like this, that if you don't come, I will end my life. That's not the way. But here it is Rukmini's plea to the Lord, and she is addressing in the last line. But pure devotees will not want to write like this. That's the difference between the Lord, between Radharani's devotees and Dwarkadish devotees. So this is a subtle difference. Both are both are great in their own way, but in pure love, one would not want to destroy if the other person, the lover, is not coming. भगवान के भक्त को यदि भगवान नहीं आते हैं, दर्शन देते हैं, तो भक्त ऐसा नहीं कहता कि आप नहीं आए तो मैं मर जाऊंगा, मैं अपने आप को खत्म कर दूंगा. Not like that. But in the last line here, she says, O lotus-eyed Krishna, if I don't achieve the dust of your feet, which is sought after by incomparable ones like Umapati, Lord Shiva, who is the husband of Lord of Uma Devi, I will destroy my life, she says. If the service of your feet is not achieved in this life, then I'll take hundreds of birth and do penance. I'm sure I'll achieve your lotus feet someday. So here Rukmini Devi is writing like this: I will destroy my life and then take rebirth and then take hundreds of birth and do penance. And I am sure I will achieve your lotus feet someday. So this is about the Rukmini Sandesh to the Lord of Dwarika. And anyone who reads, it is said that anyone who reads this stuti has all the obstacles in his devotional life, but more so one who is materially, seeking some benefit to begin with, and has Lord Dwarika as his object of devotion, he can too get relief, because marriage is also a very important thing. You cannot get married to any duffer. You cannot get married to anyone who is less in qualities than yourself. You always want some good, you always look for something good. So why will a girl go for settle for less, and why should a boy settle for less when it is the time for him to select a girl, choose a girl? He also want a girl with all the good qualities, and the dharma and all. Now this is Kali Yuga, but even today the same thing goes on, and one must go for like that. And then a boy can marry a girl from a lower caste, but the girl cannot marry a boy lower than her caste. So that is the rule, and that should be followed, because of, and it's not like the girl is from the higher caste and she marries the boy from lower caste because she loves him. That is not love. That is some attraction, some infatuation, and one who is wise will never go for it. So, in this Rukmini Devi Sandesh is also a message to, the souls, that they must choose their uh, whatever association in life very wisely and go for the best. Now, here one gets a message that, and whatever things we look for in the material person, they are there in the Lord, and why not ask the Lord for it directly? So devotion is supreme all the time, and rather than hopping for in these things, qualities in the material world for a temporary, for a temporary phase, and then not realizing the importance of life. So whoever reads this Sandesh, Rukmini Sandesh, will get the deep message of this. The Rukmini, Lord of Dwarika and Sri Rukmini Devi will bless them, and they will have all the obstacles in their path diminished, and they can have a nice devotional life. And yes, those who are willing to find a partner and get settled in a devotional life, grihastashram, for them also it is very beneficial that they read this. And it is a very beautiful it's a very beautiful pastime of the Lord. And we see the demons were defeated. Shishupal and Jarasan, they were opposing, and they had all the paraphernalia to create havoc and oppress people, and they were vanquished, defeated by the army of Lord Krishna. So thank you very much.